My number 10 highlight this year was getting to play with little Bierut at Potlatch, which is the most prestigious co-ed ultimate tournament in the world. I got to play with a lot of guys who play with Rhino, which is one of the top men's teams in the world, and a lot of the women on little Bierut play with Schwa, which is one of the best women's teams in the US. For me, this was an exciting opportunity. I got to play with my good friend Dave, and we ended up finishing third at Potlatch. There was also this dance party that was always happening. Number 9 is my first time in the Quadruped series. This one was at Houston last March. I ended up driving 36 hours each way to compete for about 8 hours, and it was well worth it because Davey and I set a world record in our first time in the Quadruped, and we ended up finishing second overall in that Quadruped to Gary Duke. So for me, it was an exciting opportunity to kind of start getting my name out there, compete with Davey a bit more, and for setting the world record, I actually got 100 custom discs from Hero this year.
We'll see the official watch. Very close for a new record.
Could it be now?
Tighten up, Gary! Come on! Tighten up!
Give me your number. 101 in the third.
Number 8 for me was playing with the Bunny Thugs at the Canadian Ultimate Championships in Victoria. For me, it was my first time ever to Victoria. It was my first time playing co-ed at Nationals, and I also got to play with a lot of my good friends from Saskatoon. So for me, it's really exciting to go to Nationals to see the teams, and also to get my name out there as Ultimate Rob. Not a lot of people know who I am, so it's nice to get out there and talk to people and tell them a little bit about what I do. And for me, what was nice about this trip was it was actually paid for by a company in Calgary called Horizon Heating. That was amazing for me because it was the first time I'd really been sponsored at, I guess, a competition, and it really helped me out, helped me not worry so much about finances for that trip. And as part of my sponsorship, I did a couple of videos, and the nice thing about those videos is I did some videos with the captains of Bunny Thugs, and we talked about our expectations and how they wanted to do at Nationals, and we ended up meeting our expectations, so we ended up finishing 8th, which was awesome, and it's a great chance to build on something for next year for Co-ed Ultimate in Saskatoon. Number 7 for me was the Skyhoundz World Championships in Tennessee this September. For me, it was number 7 because, yes, it was an exciting time, but I didn't perform as well as I'd hoped to. I did end up setting 2 world records, 2 Skyhoundz world records, and did win both divisions that Davey and I competed in. But I wasn't really happy with how I threw, and it was my fault. I mean, Davey caught really well. The wind just wasn't there. It's lower altitude in Tennessee, so the disc isn't going to fly as far as somewhere like Colorado or Alberta. But for me, it was a chance to show people that Davey and I are not just a fluke. Coming into the Worlds, we had already had the Quadruped title and the Quadruped World Record, so people knew about us. But you still have to go out there. You still have to throw. You still have to catch. You still have to perform. So for me, it was just another opportunity to compete with Davey, develop, our working relationship together, and start meeting more people. And it was great. I actually got to meet a lot of people from Europe, and a lot more people in the US that I've been talking through on Facebook. So I got to meet them in person, which was really nice. Number 6 for me, and this was a tough one because it was an amazing trip. I flew down to Mexico in June for the Mexican Ultimate Championships with Malaki, which is a team that I went down last year, and actually they flew me down last year, and I taught them, ran a bunch of practices with them for a week. So this year I went down, played with them, and we ended up finishing second. So I got a silver medal, which was awesome. Super exciting for them. Their team is mostly 17 to 19-year-olds, so it's mostly a juniors team. And the team that we lost to in the finals, Phoenix, 5-time national champions, guys in their late 20s, early 30s, so they've been playing the game a long time. But for Malaki, it was exciting for them because they knew that they could compete, but they had to prove it to themselves. And I think that really was when they started to believe that they are a good team and they have potential to do more. It was a lot of fun. One of the highlights for me of that trip was we were at Guadalajara University, and they have diving platforms with a pool. So after the tournament was done, we put our silver medals around our neck, went up on the lowest part of the platform, which was I think 1.5 meters, and everyone jumped in at the same time. We got a picture of that, so that was really fun. And later on, we were going off the tower. The tower was about 9.5 meters, and most of the team did it, but there was a couple guys, I think P-Bay in particular, who kept going up to the top, wouldn't do it, and we were cheering him on, chanting him on, and wouldn't do it. And then finally, as we were all leaving, he went down, I think, to the lower tower, the 6-meter tower, and jumped off. So for him, it was overcoming that, but for us, it was fun, just heckling everybody, and it was just a really good time. My number 5 highlight this year was the Virginia States Frisbee tournament. For me, it was my first time competing, but the tournament's actually been going on for 36 years, so it was kind of cool to go there, see the history, and there was actually a couple guys there who've been there all 36 times. So hearing their stories about the history was really awesome. My highlights included finishing 3rd in the distance competition, getting to meet Melissa Whitmer from Melissa's Ultimate Fitness and the Ultimate Athlete Project. It's great meeting her because we've been talking for a couple years online and have never really had the chance to meet in person. So really nice to meet her, and she got to come down for one of the days and check out some of the competition. Also, my buddy Sam Kay and I won the speed flow competition that Jens Velasquez put on. Our goal was I would throw a normal throw kind of low, Sam would catch between his legs, and we ended up winning, I think, by 1 point. And for that, we got a t-shirt, really old t-shirts from Jens, which you can't really get anywhere else, so it's really neat. But for me, it's just being exposed to more overall competitions, because there's only 2 every year, and that's one of the ones I definitely want to go back to every year. Number 4 for me was the US Open Overall Flying Disc Championships in Santa Barbara. Primarily, the best part about the trip was Santa Barbara itself. I've heard about Santa Barbara for a while. It was featured in the Frisbee documentary I Bleed Black that I watched years ago. And Santa Barbara itself is an amazing city. I was there for a week, and there was not a cloud in the sky. So it was just perfect weather, exactly what you want for a Frisbee, lots of wind. It was awesome. Some of the highlights included getting to hang out with Sam Kay and his buddy Jay the whole week. They were great guys. It really made a difference having someone around, just spend time with and talk about the competition and supporting each other, cheering each other on. It was awesome. Also getting to meet Ken Westerfield, who is a Frisbee legend in Canada, and at one point he threw a 40 mold over 500 feet with a forehand, which is, if you know anything about distance, if you know anything about 40 molds, it's incredible that he can throw that far. So it was really cool getting to meet him and just talking to him a bit about Frisbee in Canada, and for him getting to see a Canadian that was down there competing. And then also meeting Tom Kennedy, who is a Frisbee Hall of Famer and helped found the UPA, was a member of the Condors, and I got a video interview with him, which is on my YouTube channel, just basically talking about the current state of Frisbee and Brodie Smith's trick shots and the pro leagues and kind of where the future of Ultimate and the future of Frisbee is going, which was really neat. And for me, it was amazing being there competing for an entire week in this competition, which I hope there's many more overall competitions in the future. My number 3 highlight this year was in January 2012, setting my first Guinness World Record. I initially had flown to China in last December to attempt this and came up just short. And so when I came back to Calgary, the Guinness officials told me, set it up again, get the proper discs, record it, send us all the documents, and if you're successful, we'll give you the record. And so for me, that was very exciting. It's been a goal of mine since I was a kid, since I started buying the Guinness record book. So for sure, it was a very proud feeling, just getting recognition from people. And when you first start playing Frisbee, everybody makes fun of you because you're not really sure what it is, but once you start getting success, once you start doing something, they can sort of start following you, and you start inspiring other people, which to me is a big deal. Having people look up to me and showing them that if you follow your passion, you can really achieve whatever you want to achieve. So that was a big deal. Number 2 for me was the Denver Quadruped. So going into this, I knew that in order to win the Quadruped series, I had to win, and I also had to retain my world record that I had set in Houston. For me, I knew that I had done enough practice. Dave and I had spent enough time together, and we had a good bond. We had everything in place. It was just a matter of basically me throwing the right throws and David getting it and catching it. Denver's about a 17-hour drive. So going down there, I definitely felt pressure, felt expectations that we had to do this. But also at the same time, the day of the competition, it was pretty relaxing. I was throwing very well, and I did a lot of practice throws. So I knew we were ready, and just hoping the wind was there. So in the preliminary rounds, the wind wasn't there. The wind picked up later on, and in the finals, there was a really good tailwind. And it was, to me, 3 of the most exciting throws that I've been around. And I say that because Gary's third throw, so the first round of the finals, his third throw was 104.5, which broke my record from Houston. Then I get up and throw my first throw. It's 108, so I broke his record. I decide to throw again, 116.5, which is the current record in the Quadruped. And Dave and I ended up doing really well. The rest of the finals, we ended up winning. So for me, it was validation that, the time that we had put in paid off. It was really exciting because it's still sometimes, looking back on that, it's hard to believe that everything happened the way it did. It was just incredible. I had a really amazing time, and yeah, for sure, that was my number 2. So by far, my number 1 highlight this year was setting the WFDF world record for distance to canine catch with Davey. Since I started throwing with Davey last year, this has been a record that I've wanted, but haven't attempted it for a few reasons, mainly because it's really hard. I had to learn how to actually throw the disc that far. So the world record at the time was 130.01 yards with Mark Mullner, and he had set that 18 years ago in 1994. So I did 3 days of attempts in August, and Davey and I set personal bests each day, and our personal best after the 3 days was 122 yards, so we were still 8 yards away from breaking the record. But in my mind, I knew it was possible because I had a few throws over 130, and Davey was there, or he just was almost there, so I knew that we could do it. We decided to reattempt the record in October of this year. The weather was a little cooler, so the 3 attempts in August, it was really hot out, which was not good for Davey. Did them in October, and on our second day, in the second throw, Davey caught at 134, which not only broke the record that was set 18 years ago, but it also made him the first dog to officially catch over 400 feet. So for me, of all the records I hold, this one is the most dear to me because it's the hardest one I've broke, I think, so far. There's a lot of people that have tried previously to break this record and have not succeeded. So for Dave and I to do that, it sort of puts us out there saying, these guys are the best at doing Frisbee distance, which is something that I've been striving for, working hard at since we started competing together. So it's something that I want to keep pushing that record because we had misses at 140, 150 yards. I know we can go further. But again, it's, the right conditions. So you need the right wind, you need the right weather. Davey has to be catching and actually throwing well. So if you combine those 4 things together, you can have some good success. So I'm excited to see what 2013 holds and what Davey and I can keep doing together. Finally, I'd like to thank my sponsors. Without you, everything I did this year would not have been possible. So I'd like to thank MarketWire, who sponsored all my press releases. So whenever I did something somewhat significant, I could put out a press release and I'd have TV coverage, newspaper coverage, radio coverage. So thank you for MarketWire. Thank you to Matt at Horizon Heating for sponsoring me Nationals this year. Without you, I would not have been able to attend Nationals, Matt, so thank you for supporting me. I'd like to thank VC Ultimate, who has been incredibly supportive again with my jerseys this year. So whenever I compete at overall competitions, usually I'm the only Canadian, so I have a nice Canadian jersey from VC Ultimate, so thank you for their support. Would like to thank Hero Disc USA and Innovidiscs for their sponsorship as well. Every record I've set now has been with an Innova or a Hero Disc, so without your support, would not have been able to do what I do, so I thank you for that. Would also like to thank Vivo Barefoot, so they're my official shoe sponsor. I've been wearing barefoot shoes now for 3 years, and everything I do, I wear barefoot shoes. So thank you, Vivo, for your continued support, and I look forward to teaching more people in the future about barefoot running and barefoot walking. Finally, I'd like to thank 4 very important people who have been huge supporters of me over the last couple of years, and without you, I would not be standing here talking to you. So Marion Paulson, who found me on YouTube a couple years ago and invited me out to teach her how to throw for her dogs. Marion, you opened my eyes to a whole new world, so thank you for that. Jack Cooksey, who invited me to the World Overall Championships last summer. Jack, without you, I never would have known that overalls existed and never would have fallen in love with this sport so much. And I thank you for that. Thank you for taking a chance on me. And finally, to Lara Sorensen and Brett Bard, Davey Whippet's owners and trainers. Without your support, it's been incredible, spending time getting to know you both. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for the trust that you've put in me, and that you've let me play with Davey. And I don't even know how to thank you. You've done more for me than I can ever repay you. So I hope that I can keep making you happy. I can keep playing with Davey and doing what he loves to do. So thank you so much for that. And I just wanted to thank everybody for watching this and supporting me. And I look forward to talking to you, meeting you in 2013, and sharing with you a lot of exciting things that I have coming up. So happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all that fun stuff. Thanks.